The first segment of the Hot 7 Nightly News is brought to you by Flow.
Tonight, a teen is stabbed to death in Pave. NEMO's director urges residents to be on guard as assessments of Hurricane Elsa's impact continue. And schools in the south bear the brunt of Elsa, forcing the closure of some institutions on Monday. The details of these stories and more coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Monday, the 5th of July, 2021. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. I'm Lovelace St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. A 17-year-old succumbed to stab wounds on the 2nd of July. Davio Foshe was said to be in bed when two men broke into his house and stabbed him to death. Our team spoke with his sister-in-law. Genevieve Gonzague begins our reporting.
A teenager is dead following a stabbing on July 2nd, 2021. At approximately 3 a.m. on Friday, officers attached to the Criminal Investigation Department were summoned to Pave, where the lifeless body of 17-year-old Davio Foshe was found. It is reported that Foshe was occupying a house with his girlfriend when two men came in and stabbed him to death. The sister-in-law of the deceased relayed the account of the incident as told by her sister, who was in the house. She says her sister is still in shock over the events which transpired on Friday.
She heard the noise on the door, and by the time she jumped from the sleep, the house was already in darkness. By the time she jumped from the sleep, she don't everything happened so fast. She don't really know what happened. And then after she said she ran outside, like when the people go, she ran outside to call my mother, because my mother living here, and my other brother living over there. That's what they told me. I don't know what happened after. Yeah, they ran outside to check what was going on. So my mother said she gave her phone to call the police and those things. So when the police and them got there, they took her phone, my mother's phone, and they got the boy phone inside. So I think they took it too. They go with it. They say that's evidence to see like what was the last calls and messages and stuff.
She says following this incident, she is very concerned for the safety of her younger sister.
I'm just worried about my sister, the fact that she was there. You never know what could happen. If they could target her next because they maybe assume that she know who or saw who. That's my only fear. I just worried about her.
At the time of the interview with Hot 7, the girlfriend was not at home. The sister-in-law says Foshe was not from the Pave community but lived there with her sister. She says having not been very close to the victim, there is not much information that she can disclose about him or the circumstances surrounding his death.
I don't really know him because I don't really come here like that. So I don't really know what kind of person he was in the area. I don't really know him on that level.
For the year 2021, St. Lucia has recorded 35 homicides. The matter is currently being investigated by the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
Thank you, Genevieve. At about 9:35 p.m. on the 2nd of July, officers attached to the Dennery police station recovered the body of a male at Prale Bay. Due to the noted indicators of violence about the body, the death is being investigated as a homicide. Anyone with information regarding the possible identification of the victim is asked to contact the Major Crime Unit. The number is 456-3756. A father is dead due to the passage of Hurricane Elsa. 58-year-old Peter Victor Force-Jacques died after his roof collapsed as the ferocious winds of Hurricane Elsa tore through St. Lucia, blowing off roofs in its wake. Victor reportedly lived alone. Infrastructure Minister Stephenson King extended condolences to the family.
Let me take this opportunity to extend my condolences to the family out at Force-Jacques who lost a loved one. We must say thank God that it's only one who succumbed.
Assessments of Hurricane Elsa's impact on St. Lucia's infrastructure, lives and livelihoods continue as the country seeks to regain some sense of normalcy in its aftermath. The director of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, Doreen Gustave, says that while government moves to support those affected, residents must continue to be on guard as the hurricane season has only just begun.
With the devastation brought on by Hurricane Elsa, which pummeled St. Lucia on Friday, July 2nd, NEMO is advising residents to prepare for any eventuality. Elsa, which was forecasted to pass near St. Lucia as a tropical storm, quickly intensified, hitting the country with near 75-mile-per-hour winds. Initial assessments concluded that there was widespread damage to banana farms, with agriculture being the hardest hit. Infrastructure was also affected. On Monday, NEMO's director Doreen Gustave gave an update on Elsa's impact.
NEMO received reports of partial and total damage to homes throughout the island. On Saturday, July 3rd, the Prime Minister, an official from infrastructure, and myself did an aerial reconnaissance to have a view of the damage, and as was mentioned previously, the damage to the banana fields were quite visible. Indeed, the agriculture sector suffered extensive damages. Please be reminded that we are still in the midst of an active Atlantic hurricane season, and based on the destructive nature of these tropical activities, you are advised to continue with the hurricane preparedness if you have not done so.
Preparedness plans, she says, should include a family plan, business plan, assessments around the home and property to identify hazards. The progress of Elsa only reminds us of all of the very real threats that these can have on society.
As you see the progress of Elsa after impacting several islands in the Windward and the entire Caribbean chain with rainfall and gusty winds, I remind you of the present and real threat and danger these activities can have on our society, from an economic to social and loss of lives and livelihoods. We have about 15 more storms remaining, and it takes only one to cause catastrophic effect on any one country. With the rise in climate change, we have seen the rapid intensification of hurricanes. For example, Tropical Storm Elsa changing rapidly into a hurricane within a short space of time. This behavior could have only been made possible due to climate change and the effects of climate change on our small island development states, and this could only be mitigated through preparedness.
The director expresses her solidarity with the other SIDEMA member states and other countries that were impacted by Hurricane Elsa. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
Following the passage of Hurricane Elsa, some tenants in the CDC buildings have been left with no roof. Genevieve Gonzague reports.
The CDC buildings were not spared by the passage of Hurricane Elsa. On Friday, some tenants were sent scurrying for shelter as the strong winds accompanying the hurricane left many blocks roofless. In the aftermath of the hurricane, our team spoke with residents of the area.
Yeah, one of the bedrooms got wet. The bed, everything is wet. Everything in that room is wet. So they have a lot of things that have to be replaced. There's a lot of damage, a lot of things that got wet. I just trying to do some cleanup. Basically, that's what I do in there now.
Another resident, Gordon Francis, spoke of his experience with Hurricane Elsa and made an appeal for help to be given to the tenants as many individuals lost lots of personal effects.
I'm actually 40 and that's the first time I've ever seen roofs blown so fastly off the roof. Yeah, first time, very, very first time. Terrifying because as you could see, the roofs just went, you lying down and the roofs just went. It was very terrifying, you know. Everybody is just waiting on, you know, because all this stuff, as you can see, got wet and people are just waiting on, you know, for the help to come through. So we're just waiting and asking for some assistance because we really needed TVs, all sorts of stuff, appliances, all sorts of stuff got damaged, you know.
He says in the aftermath, tenants from the various blocks came out to assist each other with the cleaning up of their houses and to salvage what could be saved. His calls for help did not fall on deaf ears, as on Monday, efforts were already on the way to repairing the roofs which got damaged by the hurricane.
Well, the project now is currently removing the old galvanized. We're structuring the boards in place differently. We are going to bolt them down. These were nailed down, you see, so and actually at the angle, the wind was able to just lift it up and then blow it off because of the half-inch and also inch nails, which were too short. when building those roofs. So right now we just have some engineers who want to use longer screw bolts to screw down the roofs, because they were not screwed down to the structure, they were only screwed down to the beams, as you can see up there. Yeah. So right now we're going to bolt down all roofs.
Reporting from the CDC for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
You're watching the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. Still to come, the Chief Education Officer reports on school damages and closures due to Hurricane Elsa, and the Agriculture Minister confirms millions of dollars worth of destruction within the agricultural sector. That and more after the break.
The first segment of the Hot 7 Nightly News was brought to you by Flow.